You know, it's the gold standard for high school students, but changes are coming this spring to the SAT tests. Changes that you should know about as a student or as a parent for that matter. So how will these changes affect your teen? We've got Bill Huston, founder of Mindfish, an SAT prep program in the Denver area. And he's here to talk about these changes, but we do want to say we've got Brooke here. She's the student.
I'm the student.
Hard at work. You kind of got an early start.
You're the teacher.
I'm the proctor here. So we've handed her two SAT questions, realistic SAT questions. We're going to see how she does as we talk here. So Bill, some big changes. First and foremost, when are these changes going to happen?
The first new SAT is going to be given on March 5th. The last test in the old format was actually given last Saturday, January 23rd, so the changes are coming up quite soon.
Okay, so what are the changes? What should we know about here?
Well, the SAT, long story short, is going to be more similar to the ACT than it's ever been before. Okay. There'll be some harder math on the test, including trigonometry. There'll be one math section that prohibits the use of a calculator, which I know kids will not be pleased to hear. The essay is going to be a little bit longer on the new test. And in general, the SAT is going to focus more on critical thinking and conceptual understanding rather than rote memorization like it focused on in the past.
And most of us sort of remember the SAT and ACT. I mean, I know I took both like most people, but that was over 15 years ago. Do you think we'd be surprised at how difficult some of these questions actually are?
I think the test will look quite a bit different than it used to look. There'll be less focus on, $10 vocabulary words that the SAT was famous for in the past, and more focus on understanding reading comprehension passages, some understanding of charts and graphs and that kind of thing as well. It's a different test than it was 15 years ago.
Brooke's done already?
I'm done!
Oh my gosh.
How'd you do?
I don't know how I did. We'll see. But you guys keep,
we'll
chat amongst yourselves.
Yeah, we'll get to your answers in just a don't worry.
I have a blue pen, not a
I want to be the one
pencil.
to check her answers. Are there different ways that students and parents can prepare for this now that it's changed?
Absolutely. The test emphasizes a lot of skills that students have sort of brushed on in school but aren't maybe too familiar with. So focused preparation on the test itself is extremely important. I recommend taking practice exams as much as possible just to familiarize oneself with the experience of taking the test and under time conditions. I'm also a big advocate of helping students develop reading habits over a long period of time, especially with the new focus on critical thinking on the new SAT. Developing strong reading comprehension skills is going to be of paramount importance.
Is it kind of unfair they're testing stuff these kids might not have learned in school?
Yeah, I don't think it's unfair. It is a different skill set than kids have learned in school. It's more of a different focus on similar material.
Okay, and you guys provide tutoring and practice tests and that sort of thing,
Absolutely.
right?
We run practice tests almost every week here in the Front Range, as well as run classes and private tutoring arrangements for students of all ages, but focusing on SAT and ACT.
Good changes, bad changes? What do you think?
I think overall it'll probably be a positive change. Sure. The test is probably a little bit more fair, and by making it more similar to the ACT, I think it'll help students focus a little bit on the skills they need to learn to succeed on these tests.
All right, Bill, we got to check Brooke's answers. So the first question you had was a math question. It had to do with a lottery. You've got 100 seniors, 150 juniors, 200 sophomores, and you put this many seniors in front. It's a confusing question.
It is.
And I want to know what your answer was.
I chose D, 3/8.
Boom! Brooke got it right.
Well done.
Nice job. Well done. Now the second question.
Would you like to see my math?
No.
Okay.
Now this is the SAT. All we want is the bubble filled in.
I know.
Number 2 pencil, fill in the bubble. That's all that matters. Scenes from the everyday lives of African Americans, which are realistically depicted in paintings of Henry Ossawa Tanner. And what was your answer?
I picked C.
The paintings of Henry Ossawa Tanner realistically depict scenes from the everyday lives of African Americans.
Is that right?
That is correct.
Yes.
You weren't so sure about that one,
I get to go to college again.
Well, now you got to pay for it.
Right, I don't want to pay for it
You got to
again.
accept it. You just got to pay for it. Are these pretty typical questions, Bill?
Fairly typical. The type of grammar question we just saw will be in the new SAT in the context of a passage rather than one sentence by itself. But both that math question and the grammar question are something kids can expect to see on the new test.
It scares me that was just a little bit fun.
It is kind of fun.
It won't be for your daughter in a couple of years when she's taking those tests, will it?
I'll tell her it was fun for me. Maybe I'll inspire her to.
All right, thank you, Bill, for coming in.
Thanks so much for having me.
And thank you for being the guinea pig, bro.
I'd love to do it. I'll come take your class.
Sounds good. We'll have you anytime.
That's
Thanks,
a scary
Bill.
thought. I should be teaching the class, trust me. Oh, I know the answer to this one. Greg, back me up, Greg.
Yeah.
I am not a know-it-all. Maybe sometimes.
In a good way.
Brooke throws out a whole